From undisclosed locations for reasons of security and insecurity, we present to you tonight MnRTV Live Show. And tonight we've got a very special guest, Fritz Springmeier, Illuminati Election 2016. Are the elections rigged? What is going on? What's the information about Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, and the hidden hand? Is there someone controlling all of this? Is Donald Trump says who he is, or is there another hidden agenda? Well, we're going to find out tonight on the MnRTV Live Show. But here is my co-host, the one and only Mario the Madman. Cheers. Cheers.
Yes. Yes, it's great to be back, ladies and gentlemen. It feels like it's almost a year since we last did this show last week, right? That's how it feels just about now, if you know what I mean.
Yes, I know exactly. It's been like so long, and so much has happened in the past week that it's good to be back. My voice is better, I think, not 100%, but hopefully it's getting better and better. The bronchitis is going away, but still not 100%. But anyhow, that's irrelevant because tonight we got Fritz Springmeier to talk about the Illuminati election.
Yes, and he's coming on in about what, half an hour-ish or something like that. So
45 minutes.
Yeah, so something like that. You know what I mean.
Yeah. So it's gonna be good to have him on the show. I mean, it's been a while, and he's got a lot of information, and we can't wait to have him on our show. That's for sure.
No. It's always great when Fritz comes on.
Yes.
But shall we get cracking and the wheels in motion? So like that, we talk about, what we normally talk about, which is the introduction, the news and of the week, and the pictures of the week, and
exactly. Yeah, so let's get cracking. By the way, this show's been brought to you by the Montreal Anti-Illuminati Task Force. Okay.
So this is me, and I'm going to be switching on over to show you what you gotta see, because we've accumulated so many things in the past week. So I'm going to be switching
that we say, because this show's been broadcast on a worldwide transmission.
Yeah, so here she is. Here's our wonderful blog. It's the MnR production, Mariolaur.blogspot.ca, and you just go down.
And
if you don't see these, you just refresh, and then you hit play.
And bang, reader.
Yes, and then if you want,
depending on the browser you're using.
And right there, you can go and you can see how we started, which is, wow, it's almost 10 years. If not, it's going to be 10 years. Right there, Robert?
In fact, this month it'll be 10 years. We started this like in late November, didn't we?
Yes.
Wow.
Time just flies. So, and here, this is Chatango. If you have any questions for us or the guest, just, say it right there. Just type it in, and you can tell us, give us your feedback. And so now we're going to be going into the pictures of the week. And this is from Laland, who always, every once in a while, or he always appears on our show, and it's great when he comes on the show.
And here it is. No imagination. Marry and reproduce. Consume. Buy and obey.
This is from the movie They Live, right? With Rodney Piper.
Yes, They Live.
Perfect Halloween costume, because this is where this comes from. Halloween, which we just passed, which was what?
On Monday.
A couple of days ago, exactly. Yep. So that's a perfect costume. Suivant next.
When aliens invade the earth, be aware that they're demons being passed off as aliens to deceive the world and bring forth a one world government. Exactly, folks. That is spot on. when the aliens invade. That could be the great deception the Bible speaks about. And if it is, it's gonna be very, very spectacular, because Hollywood and everybody else, Hollywood and in games, toys, videos, and media, they always talk about aliens, you know, and something's got to give soon. Disclosure might be soon, sooner than we think, folks.
Maybe that's on what's Hillary's, Clinton's emails. Maybe that's what it's all about.
Could be. Very possible.
But we always talk about these on the MnRTV Live Show. That's what makes us different than from the mainstream media.
Breaking news. Something irrelevant to your life just happened, and now we are going to blow out of proportion for days to keep you distracted from what's really going on, like something about Kim Kardashian. Stuff like that.
But here on the MnRTV Live Show, we don't do that yet. We like to concentrate on what they want, what the mainstream media wants you to concentrate, not concentrate about. We want to give you the truth. Yes, we don't like to do what mainstream media likes to do. We like to repeat who's George Soros. And the media doesn't talk about much. And speaking of George Soros, here's the next one.
Chelsea Clinton is married to Mark Medvinsky. Mark Medvinsky is George Soros' nephew. Who is Mark Medvinsky? Tell us who his uncle is.
It's George Soros right here. And we did a show on him 2 weeks ago, Bealt.
Exactly. And
so it's right here. Look, he's looking on there. He's like a reptilian.
But Hillary looks like not Hillary. Chelsea, she must have alien DNA in herself too, no?
No, they all interbreed. They all intermingle. Unfortunately,
not someone I would want to interbreed with.
No, definitely not. No, nothing great. Suivant next. Look at this one. I like this one. Drain the swamp, and there's Donald Trump taking the tape out, and look at what's going right down the drain right there.
Okay, there's Hillary. The other one's Podesta, right?
Yeah.
The other one is Bill, right?
Yes, Bill? Because it says
who's the other one, though? I can't make it out, the first one.
I don't know. And then you have up here, look at this, like an owl that looks like a devil. Soros! George Soros!
Exactly, George Soros, one of the architecture of the New World Order, Illuminati.
Now, this one here is Ryan. I don't know who Ryan is.
Ryan, I don't know.
Anyhow, sweet. And look at this. Jeb Bush is getting soaked in there along with Obama. Suivant next.
Faith is trusting God, even when you don't understand His plan. And sometimes we do not understand His plan.
You know, that is... Faith is one thing that the fallen angels, demons, you know, they could see Christ. They know Christ exists. They don't want you to believe in Him. They don't want you to have faith in Him. But right there, it's very important that you have faith. That's the most important thing. It's not just believing. It's also having faith. Because you could do a lot of things when you have faith. Suivant next. Oh, yeah, look at this one.
Let me see. Google this number, US 6506148B2. Your television is a brainwashing tool used to manipulate you, and that's true. It is. It's used to manipulate you, and just Google it. You'll see there's a patent for this. But look how it brainwashes everybody. Buying stuff, the way of thinking, the way of living, the way of drinking, what to eat, how to act, what to wear, what to watch, where to go, what sports to do, what costumes to get, who to vote for, what to buy, and so on and so forth. Very, very interesting patent that they have there. It's right there for you guys to see.
both. If they will be right here on this picture right there, one of us watching the MnRTV live show live right here, the child wouldn't be brainwashed, because we're not here to brainwash people. We're here to give out the truth. Suivant next. Oh yeah, look at these.
Nelson Mandela, the African 33rd degree Mason. Isn't that David Rockefeller?
Yes.
And then he's with I don't know who the other two are. Can't really
That's
make
the
it out.
same one. It's fella and
No, at the bottom.
oh, this one just to show that he's with a black pope.
No,
You know.
the Jesuit Pope, right? Yeah.
Yes, the Jesuit Pope, and he's part of the Freemason, and you know he's all a big family. A lot of people out there are like saying, how Nelson Mandela is a great character, but he's not. He's part of the system right there. People need to realize that right there. Suivant next. Look at these.
Print a $100 bill for 13 cents. Thug life. Loans the bills for the U.S. government for $100 plus interest. This thug for life. There's Rothschild right there.
Yes, and he controls the money, and we gotta end the field. That's what it all comes down to. It's very, very important that we have to end the field, and that's why we also do the show. And you know, people have to realize what it's all about. Suivant next. Hillary Clinton right here.
When you're 2 weeks away from rigging an election and then the FBI reopens your investigation, and look at her face. She's like, no. But I haven't, in the last couple of days, I haven't heard anything about this investigation.
No.
They're probably trying to whitewater it down. Sipa had to call George Soros, and he had to deal with it.
Yes, give money to the media so like that they don't talk about it.
Exactly.
Suivant next.
The media tells you who to love, who to hate, who to be afraid of, who to trust, what to think, and what not to think. Free your mind from mental slavery. And exactly, because right there, that's what they do, the media. It's a machine to control you.
Yes, and we add here what to watch, the MnRTV Live Show. That's what we add in here.
Yes, exactly.
You know? And that we're tired of being slaves to a dollar that is backed by petrodollar. It's not backed by silver or gold. Suivant next. Oh yeah, look at this.
This is not Jesus. This is not Satan. This is not Mary. This is not your father. All of this is just garbage.
It's garbage. And look, they put Mera, a crown on Mera. And she doesn't, you know, it's like, and this is Caesar Bargol. Who was his name? Bargolio there? Bargolio? Yeah. I don't know. It's irrelevant. He's holding a heart. And this Satan, it's all garbage. Don't believe in the Suivant next. And then you got the Pope there. Ah, well, Suivant next. Yes.
What people think soldiers are fighting for? Look at that. What are they really fighting for?
Oil.
Don't be fun or prefabricated wars by bankers, arms dealers, and oil producers. War, a massacre of people who don't know each other for the profit of people who know each other but don't massacre each other. It's a banker's war. That's what it is.
Yes, and unfortunately, the poor soldiers are overseas trying to free the oil and not the people. They don't care about the people. But I care. I care about them soldiers. Right there, Robbie?
That's right, for sure.
Don't forget, like I keep stressing, it's a petrodollar. That's all it is. They're working for petrodollar. one day that's going to fall. Suivant next, the last but not least.
David Rockefeller. We started and funded the women's movement so we could tax both sexes. That way we could put women to work and take their children to control. David Rockefeller. And he's all happy about that.
And of course, who likes this women movement? The liberals. The liberals push this.
Yes, they do.
Democrats. Yeah. You see it when you think about it.
I know.
So that's the pictures of the week that are both found on Google Plus, Conspiracy Talk on Google Plus, and these Facebook. See, I gotta make it big. It's like that. And now, if people want to know how to watch our show in the future, it's right here. Whenever we see it, whenever you see that we have a new show, it's always here and on Google Plus and on Facebook. The Conspiracy Talk right there. And let's see now what's happening on our wonderful Chitango. Hey there, Paula. Hey there, Paula.
Exactly.
Yes, I'm sure glad. I'm sure glad that Paula is watching and they land.
We win a tile near Walmart on Langelier.
Tile.
Tile. Well, we bought what do you call that? That cream that we bought. Not the cream, the aloe vera.
Yeah. Yeah, apparently even Rochelle Berra, they sell that kind of stuff. Rochelle Berra.
The one we got is the best, though.
All right, so now we're going to be talking about the news of the week right here. Right, this is what's happening in the media. Is this a surprise? Shouldn't surprise you.
Montreal Police Department monitored journalist's cell phone to get numbers, track his movements. Now talk about Big Brother here. That's exactly what's happening. Big Brother to its fullest, 1984, New World Order, Stalinistic government bureaucracy, right there. Look at it. For several months this year, the Montreal Police Department was monitoring the iPhone of La Presse, Patrick Lagacé, to determine the identity of his sources, the news organization says.
Anyways, we're not going to read the whole thing.
No.
But my point to this, it's like they're putting the blame on the Montreal Police Department. But you know what? You know what, they're Robert? When you think about it, who controls the Montreal Police Department?
Yeah, they do.
The government.
Right.
So why do they keep saying it's the police? The police is just a pawn. They're just doing the dirty work.
They're the thugs of the New World Order.
Yeah, they're just there to do the dirty work, you know? I mean, they don't care. So this does not surprise. You know what? I bet you they're spying on all of our equipment, just like what happened last week to our show. Like it was unsynchronized with the voice in the video. It's almost as if it was like a delay of 10 minutes that happened. 10 minutes. That means Google, they must have forgot to hit stop to when they were recording. So what happened was it got over-recorded and it messed up the whole show last week. I mean, as long as some of the information was recorded, but, you know, I mean, a lot of it was left out. Like, I had to remove all the news and everything. So just to tell you.
It never happened to us before, but don't forget, who did we do a show on the previous week? George Soros. So maybe he's behind it all.
He controls everything. Yeah, the land. You noticed it too. That our show. That's what happened last week's show. We had to work around it and clean it up a little bit, just because that's what happened. I'm like 100% sure that that's what they did to us. They forgot to hit the stop button so that we can record our show because they're eavesdropping on us. All right, so now here's the next news beat, something about the brother of Clinton's campaign.
Clinton's campaign chair is an active foreign agent on the Saudi Arabian payroll. The system isn't rigged. It's performing exactly as intended and always as long as the vote validates its existence. Tony Podesta, brother of the now disgraced Hillary Clinton campaign chair John Podesta, whose files WikiLeaks has been publishing, is not only a powerful Democratic Party lobbyist, but a registered foreign agent, receiving a hefty monthly paycheck from the nefarious government of Saudi Arabia. No, as tinfoil hat conspiracy theorists as it might sound, that scenario is the absolute truth. In 1988, John and Tony Podesta formed the Podesta Group and have used their bigwig party insider status to lobby and influence government policies while at various times simultaneously holding positions of power, which has created a number of glaring conflicts of interest. Well, what look about that? The point to this is there's a lot of corruption going on, and this is under Hillary's Democratic Party, and look what they're doing. And the whole article is there now, and all the articles that we put up will be in the description link after the show.
Let's just hope it gets recorded this time correctly and goodly. Because what happened last week, it's like I just felt like taking my PC and just throwing it out the window.
It wasn't the PC's fault.
No, it's Google. But
Even
Google,
had I done the Chromebook on my Chromebook, it would have done the same thing, or on our tablets or whatever. But yeah, that's it. They're trying to shut us down completely. Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's not cool, man. I mean, could it be them hackers? Because Google is a hacker. And look at speaking of hackers.
Hackers may abuse open data for ultimate attacks and chaos, says father of World Wide Web. And the hackers are there. One of the internet's pioneers and the creator of the www World Wide Web, Tim Berners-Lee, raised alarms that hackers can penetrate open source info, like transport applications, to unleash a massive chaos and a full-fledged gridlock. The British scientist, who was also an inventor of the URL, commonly known as a web address universal resource locator, issued his concerns during the London Summit on public data opportunities to the Guardian. If you disrupted traffic data, for example, to tell everybody that all the roads south to the river are closed, so everybody would go north of the river, that would gridlock you and disable the city. So I guess that's what they're trying to do here. It would be pretty interesting to get this guy on our show, eh? The father of the internet.
You think he would come on the MnRTV Live Show and we'd explain to him the problems we had last week?
I don't know if you know about that though, because back the internet was just text back in those days.
The good old days.
Text and Usenet. I remember that and bulletin boards.
Those were them good old days.
Not as if some people live on the internet like almost 24/7 with the phones, the tablets, the computers, everything. So the iWatches and all that. It's like you're always connected. That's more your world than outside the world.
Oh, something else here on Hillary.
Right there, Hillary, right there. Okay, let's get going. Proof. Hillary Clinton and her foundation are working with the Russians to destroy America. Why isn't the FBI investigating Hillary's actual connections to the Russians? This article was originally posted back in January and links Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundations to the Russians. Now 7 days out from the U.S. presidential elections, new rhetoric has surfaced in the media, which shows that the FBI has investigated Donald Trump for possible Russian connections and, of course, have found no ties. But the real question to ask may be, why isn't the FBI investigating Hillary's actual ties to the Russians, which can be found here in this article? Please share this post everywhere and make it go viral.
It is exactly why we're talking about it here on the MnRTV Live Show.
As it turns out, there's a lot more to the story behind the Mariolaur Wildlife Refuge, a whole lot more, and the article just the tip of the proverbial iceberg. As you may or may not know, IntelliHub reported on January 4th that the Hammonds Ranch and other ranch lands surrounding the refuge sit atop a vast swath of precious metals, minerals, and uranium that's heavily desired by not only the federal government but foreign entities as well. However, at the time of the article's publications, the federal government's full motive to seize the land was not yet known, other than the fact that the elements do exist in the vicinity of the invaluable. So there you go, folks. Clinton crime figure, the Hillary Rodham Clinton. She's getting more and more nasty as time gets along, the information pours out. Yes, go ahead.
And that would be a perfect candidate for American president, because they don't want nobody great there. They want someone who's evil and who's controlled by George Soros. How many times do we have to keep telling you that on the MnRTV Live Show?
And every time we mention George Soros' name, we don't activate something that advertises him, and then he does things like that. What happened last week's show? We never know, eh?
Yeah, I'm sure that it triggers.
And I'm sure he did a show on him 2 weeks ago. Okay.
Yeah, something about chemtrails right here.
CIA director admits government is using chemtrails to block the sun. Chemtrails are not a conspiracy theory. CIA Director John O'Brien admits in the video below that the government is using geoengineering. The director exposes the government's plan for spraying aerosol particles into the atmosphere to deflect the sunlight. He then goes on to say countries could rise up against each other as a result of this technology. This statement is the first step by the government to admit that they are using weather modification machines, and we've done videos on we've done shows on chemtrails and weather modification machines like HARP. It seems like not many people talk about HARP, right?
Nobody is talking about chemtrails. Nobody cares. You know.
I know.
It's sad. It's very sealed, but that's why we're putting this up so like that people know about chemtrails and wake up, people, wake up.
Yes, please, folks, wake up.
All right, that's great anti-micro. Oh yeah. All right, now we're going to be talking about Fukushima. Fukushima is coming up because you know what? The radiation in the Pacific Ocean. Look at it. You see?
Fukushima radiation in the Pacific Ocean.
It's still leaking. Whoa, what a beautiful view. There it is.
My recent post on the spread of radiation stemming from the Fukushima nuclear accident drew quite a few questioning comments. Specifically, the article suggests that radiation from the accident was drifting across the Pacific at levels high enough to cause alarm. It turns out such cause for alarm was exaggerated, though there is still reason to be concerned. I appreciate the feedback. I acknowledge that I relied on sources which I was unfamiliar and posted some information that has been shown to be incorrect. I apologize. To all who publish online, beware, bad news travels fast. It gives credence to the old saying, a lie can travel half away around the world while the truth is still putting its pants on. This is especially true on the internet. I truly hope no one was harmed by this information. Now begins the task of earning back your trust, which through hard earned can be quickly lost. It's true. You work so hard, but it could be taken away in a fraction of a second if there's a mistake or anything.
Yeah, so we'll just skim through these and see that, you know, it's still leaking. Fukushima is still leaking into the Pacific Ocean. Look at the right here. Very important. Look at this. Now that's something else.
Yonohama said, we think that the volumes of water leaking into the Pacific is about 300 tons a day. Of course, anyone could be wrong, but who am I to question routers or a Japanese government official? I don't.
Look at it. See that? It talks about...
It's equivalent to about 90,000 gallons of radioactive water. That sounds like quite a bit, but compared to the volume of the Pacific Ocean, it's still not a lot. Still, when that much leaks out every day over the course of a year, it adds up to 33 million gallons. And it's been 5 years now. Wow.
CNN, BBC, don't care about this. Nobody cares, unfortunately. People should care, because everybody should be concerned about that. And, we should be demonstrating out there. Very important. All right, now we're going to be talking about Planet X right here. The ninth planet.
More evidence of Planet 9. Bizarre orbits of distant object could be explanation of the hypothetical world. Astronomers said in January that they may have discovered a ninth planet. New studies suggest it could cause strange orbits of objects past Neptune. The peculiar orbits of 4 Kuiper belts objects have been unnoticed until now. A newspaper says they can be explained by the presence of Planet 9. The mystery of whether there is an undiscovered planet at the edge of our solar system is one that has gripped the imaginations of astronomers since the start of this year. Dubbed Planet 9 by some, the world was predicted by 2 Caltech astronomers in January based on the peculiar clustering of 6 previously known objects that orbit beyond Neptune. Now more evidence has been published suggesting the hypothetical world is responsible for the strange orbits in the distant objects. And if you scroll down, you can see the video there.
Oh, this is a picture. And
I know, and exactly, it just goes on to talk about what this mysterious Planet 9 is.
And here's more description, because you know what? Nobody out there talks about Planet X.
They found the 4 with the largest known orbital periods revolve around the sun in patterns most readily explained by the presence of a hypothetical Planet 9, approximately 10 times the mass of the Earth. That sounds like Planet X.
I mean, what do we do? What do we do about this?
What can we do? We can't do anything. It's beyond our scope, I would think.
Could it be that this planet is coming from another dimension?
A what?
Another dimension?
Yes.
Makes you wonder.
Exactly.
Let me see now.
It's true that the Chernobyl situation hasn't, it's just contained. They never really actually figured out what to do.
No, and then they keep preparing it, and I don't know. And what a disaster. And Chernobyl isn't even in Russia, isn't it? In the Ukraine?
Mm-hmm.
But back then, when that happened, I think it was, 1986?
86, yes.
And I remember it was part of Russia back then, because it was part of the Soviet Union.
They were part of the Soviet Union. Now, no.
All right, now look at this. Look at this one. When I saw this, I said, oh yeah, Robbie is going to love this one. Look at this.
Good entrance. Alien hunters investigating UFO base in Hawaii mountain. Let's go to Hawaii. Time to take a vacation, I think.
And of course, when we talking UFO and aliens, you know who's around the corner.
Yes.
Trish.
A photo showing a UFO over the mountain in Waikiki, Hawaii, is now being probed by paranormal investigators from the Mutual UFO Networks, MUFON. According to the testimony who was filed by witness MUFON number 799999, he was taking photos at noon on October 23, 2016, using the multiple photo camera settings. Upon reviewing the photos, he saw a flying disc shape. I noticed one of them was not like the others. At first, I thought a wood chip was on my lens, but I looked closer and I realized I had spotted a UFO. Now, I don't really believe in stereotyping UFOs, but this creeped me out so much that I'm reporting it, just in case it really is one. The unidentified object saw was a disc, football shape, and it was yellow or orange. When I zoom up on my camera, there seems to be a dome on top of it as well. Conspiracy theorists are convinced that there is an alien base located in Hawaii after various photos. of UFOs over the site were snapped. As mentioned by Morning News, USA, aliens prefer mountaintops to keep themselves hidden from the public. However, there are also some instances where some lucky passerbys are able to see the mysterious aircraft beyond the hidden place, such as in the cities.
So maybe Mariolaur right here is a good alien beings.
Yes, we should go investigate it in the summertime.
Yes, Paula, you're interested? Maybe we should go investigate it with Paula.
Yeah, next summer or something.
And Leland.
Yeah, so let us know, Paulie, for next summer. Hawaii is just like Russia, has been dubbed as the holy grail of UFOs. In fact, as reported by Wall Street Journal's sovereignty group, lawful Hawaiian government has constructed a landing pad for UFOs on Hawaii's biggest island in case extraterrestrials would visit. The idea is to announce to the world and to the universe that Hawaii is here. Hawaii is back. Hawaii is a neutral country. But isn't it part of the States?
I think so.
Yeah, so how can it be a neutral country? Unless he's saying the States, I won't even be saying the States. Very strange. But you know what I'm saying?
Yes. Very interesting. Very interesting. Go here, look at that. Paula wants to come out on a mission with us. Maybe even the Leon. Maybe we'll go and do a live show there on if we see any UFOs.
Yeah, that would be next summer, obviously. I'm not going to go now. We're not going to go freeze ourselves. Right now, between my bronchitis and your cold, we can't go there now.
No, but you know something there, Robert? There must be a reason why we're here in Montreal, if it's the case, you know?
I know. Yeah, the tam-tams are cool on Sundays. Yes, that's for sure. But we've got to Google the Earth. I mean, we got to use Google Earth and check out Mount Royal if there could be an alien base.
Oh, I'm like 100% sure that there is.
Well, we've got to find it. That would be good to find, to see if there actually is an alien base or what the heck is going on there. Don't you agree?
Like it would give reason to why Montreal is such a big city. You know, it's like what after Toronto? Of course, Toronto is the biggest city. It's like what, bigger like than Chicago, from what I was told.
Yeah, it is exactly.
So maybe Montreal has a UFO base in Mount Royal, and something for us to think about. But Robert, I think she wants in. She wants in the action. So what do? Do I call up triage?
Yes, by all means, you have to.
Good. Let us call triage so she can come and do what she wants to do, which is tell us, have her say in the MnRTV Live Show. So don't go anywhere, everybody. Right, Robert?
Yeah, and we'll be back after this short break, and we'll be talking about the Illuminati elections with Fritz Springmeier.
Yes, so here she is. Here's Trish.
Fritz Springmeier is probably the world's foremost authority on the bloodlines of the Illuminati and the techniques they employ to create a mind-controlled slave. His books on mind control, co-authored with former Illuminati programmer Cisco Wheeler, are, without peer in-depth, rigorous detail, and uncompromising accuracy. His lecture on the Illuminati and mind control given at the Granada Forum in 1998 was the best and most astute presentation on the subject. Naturally, anyone who exposes the Illuminati's underbelly with Fritz's level of adroitness is going to come under attack by the little minions on the internet and from the justice system, which usually has no trouble in conjuring up a suitable charge to fit the frame. Fritz Springmeier has done nothing but give, and give some more, in the interest of educating the uninformed and unwary of this country of the diabolical agenda of the illuminated ones, and has attempted mightily to expose their treachery before all is lost.
Yes, lost, Triage. Thank you very much there, Triage, for doing what you normally do and giving us your beautiful voice there. It's great hearing beautiful voice from a woman.
Indeed, it is for sure. And we're happy she came on the show to give a brief introduction to Fritz. Now we're just gonna wait for Fritz to show up, which hopefully won't be too long, right?
No, not at all. No, not at all. I mean, it's going to be a great show. But yeah, getting back to, because we're waiting for the special moment of when Fritz comes on. Yeah, so we're going to be talking about what you call it there, these natural stores. I personally like natural stores because there's like what, no GMOs, because everything we eat out there or drink has been genetically modified, right? I mean, if that thing genetically modifies the fruits and vegetables that we eat, they're like, or even the fish is just supposed to be, let's say like 1 inch big. Well, it's genetically modified. It's like what, a foot bigger. Kind of like what, what, they genetically modified times in Moses when he went down to the land of Canaanites, when he saw giants and he said that there was big grapes. So they genetically modified stuff back then, just like they're genetically modifying stuff right now.
I wonder how big they were.
Oh, it was so big. How can you say, like, a whole bunch of grapes was so big that they needed 2 people to carry it on a stick,
Oh my gosh! So it's not. You just, not one person can carry it or eat the whole grape by itself. That must have been food of the Nephilims.
Yes, that's what I think. I honestly think that it was food of them Nephilim, and I hope Fritz can come and give some of his view on all the I'm ready. I'm ready. Let's just hope Fritz is ready,
Yes, for sure.
It doesn't get better than this, right there.
Exactly. Oh no, for sure it doesn't, and it'd be fun to actually go on the mountain and see if there's an alien base.
Maybe there's genetically modified stuff too, because that's what the aliens do. They genetically modify stuff, so they would want to genetically modify us humans.
But we've got to make sure that we've got to be careful that we're not captured or anything like that, because we do not want to go to a certain levels of level 7s and nightmare halls and all kinds of stuff like that if this exists in Montreal, Paulie says that in 2015 Canadian UFO survey says Quebec leads the country when it comes to sightings of unidentified flying objects. He wishes I could see one. Well, I saw one last May of 2015, and I reported to MUFON, and the investigations at the end, they said it was just a cloud, which was BS because a cloud does not travel at a speed that it was traveling at when I saw it. But what can I say? That's what MUFON said, so who knows? They had no other reports that time of the UFO.
Usually, you could tell it's a UFO because it's a light that comes down very slowly or it comes down very fast, and then it just burges very, very quickly right out of the place. And you can't even shoot it down with any missiles. It's like, really, our technology, it's not good enough for them to catch up to, for us to catch up to that UFO. That's how fast UFOs go.
Exactly, and even military jets don't have the power to actually go get these UFOs. I mean, it just outmaneuvers the U.S. military. So But don't forget, some of it's backward reverse engineering, that there actually are soldiers and military that actually fly these UFOs. There's different ones between the man-made reverse engineering and the actual ones from interstellar space UFO alien technology.
And then, you know, one thing I don't understand there, Robert, and we gotta ask UFO specialists, the UFO specialists, when we get a chance. It's how come back then I used to watch movies, UFO movies, and cars and anything electrical circuits would not work at all. And now how come airplanes, they can spot a UFO and they don't stop? It doesn't go like short circuit.
Yeah, I know. Fritz is not online, but let me try calling him over here. But
Yes,
I don't know. Let me try. I don't even know if it'll work.
we gotta keep.
Pardon?
We gotta keep the faith that Fritz is okay and that you know, he can come on, because sometimes people tend to forget. It's not like here on the MnRTV Live Show. It's not like we don't want to do shows. We wanna do shows.
The person you're trying to reach is currently unavailable. Please leave a message after the beep.
Oh yeah,
No,
I like.
yeah, it just says offline with voice message.
Hey there, Suze. Like, you know. So sometimes we gotta keep in mind that, you know, things come up. Like, you know, it's like everything else in life, you know. I mean, sometimes technology doesn't work, or sometimes our guests have something that comes up, and it's not like they forget. They don't forget. It's just that sometimes, you know, it's very, very hard for the guests to make an appearance on the MnRTV Live Show or on any other show out there.
And we do want to come on tonight because it's we want to talk about Hillary and Donald. We want to talk about the U.S. elections and what's going on. That would be very, very helpful. Be very, very interesting topic to talk about. That's the way I see it.
Yes. Everybody wants to know his point of view, you know, to what he thinks of what's gonna happen on next Tuesday, right? It is next Tuesday, right there, Robert?
Yeah, I believe it is next Tuesday. I still have the old calendar. I didn't change my calendar, but it is on a Tuesday.
Time is going so fast. So now that I have Leland and Parlay and Souza on here, who do you think will win the election next week? Is it Hillary Clinton or Joe? Give us what you think. Who do you think is going to win the next election? I honestly think Hillary is going to win the election.
Well, the thing is, they said that Bilderberg Group did say that Hillary would take it. So I do wonder.
I mean, Susie is American. Are you even bothering to vote, or do you think it's rigged, like our good boy Donald Trump says?
My gut feeling is that Hillary's gonna take it. I'd be very surprised if Trump took it. I'd be like, wow, you know, it's just one of these gut feelings. Like tonight, I had a gut feeling of certain things that happen, and it's exactly what it is. And when I get this gut feeling, it's not something good. It's rare that I get a good feeling about a gut feeling that's good, you know? Intuition. I don't think Trump has released his tax info.
Yeah, he did, no? I think he did.
Yeah.
Well, he never paid it, right?
Yeah, that said he never paid it. I know he said he never paid it, but I don't know if all his info's out there. I didn't follow too much of that. That was around the time of when Hillary was always falling and everything.
So if he didn't pay it, maybe he'll owe so much money that he might not become a millionaire after all. Makes you wonder. It really makes you wonder. Maybe Donald Trump will go on vacation like he said he would after he loses the election. Because he said he would go on vacation.
But don't forget, if I think it'll be very close to Carl said. But don't forget, I think that if Clinton, if Trump takes it, then he said he'll put Hillary in jail. That's food for thought. It sure is.
Yes, and he's gonna sue all those people that came out and said what they said about Trump.
Exactly. Well, apparently the elite bankers have chosen Hillary to win. That's what that's the information we got last April of 2015, not 2016, April 2015. We had said on the MnRTV show that Hillary was the chosen one by the Bilderbergs. And don't forget, folks, Hillary Clinton is backed by by who, Mario?
George Soros.
Yes, by George Soros.
And like we mentioned prior, the pictures of the week, who Hillary, Chelsea Clinton, daughter of Hillary and Bill, who she's married with, the nephew of George Soros.
Exactly. Speaking of which, I'm trying to contact Fritz, but to no avail, folks. I don't know what's going on with Fritz. I mean, I told him this week, and I messaged him earlier, and I didn't get any response. I only got a response on Monday, and I didn't get any today so far. So hopefully he's okay, folks. We're sorry about this delay. We do hope that he'll come on the show soon.
Yes. So as you're all waiting, like I am, to have Fritz on, we're going to continue talking about the election. I mean, that's why we're here for, right? And Suze, you're 100% right there when you say democracy is a code for communism.
But the thing is, that Hillary, how come now we don't hear much about the emails? We heard about 2-3 days ago. Now they're not doing an investigation. Nothing. She must have called George Soros, like we said earlier in the show, and she must be telling him, do something. You've got to do something. He probably pulled some strings or something.
Yes, and he controls the media, like we mentioned last time on the last time show, and he controls the media, so he's probably making false flags, maybe the women movement, just so everybody controls on the earth. Just like here in Montreal, all I've been hearing, all what I've been hearing is how the police is spying on phones, you know, and that's a false flag. So
Exactly.
it just makes you wonder, you know.
Well, you've heard of the one that they want to fake an alien invasion, November 16, I think. I read that in the conspiracy talk that someone had put. They want to fake a blue beam alien invasion to stop, I don't know, to make the elections more interesting or something. But it would have to be done like around now. No, to stop the elections, just before the elections they fake an alien invasion. Think of it.
So like that, or Obama.
If
Right.
Obama wants to stop it, what can he do? A war, yes, but something even bigger than a war. All kinds of mother ships coming down from the skies. That would everyone would stop talking about the elections. Everyone would forget about Trump and Hillary in a second. So,
And we know what aliens are all about.
yeah, we do. Yes, I do hope that Fritz is okay. I'm starting to get worried here. I'm going to check my tablet because I've written to him on different sources. Nothing.
Yes, I don't know how to reach him.
Okay. I hope he's coming on in a few minutes. I just pray. Let's pray, folks. A little praying never hurts.
No, I mean, we gotta have faith, and you know that he responds, and he comes on, and like that. We could have our show, because I'm waiting. I myself would like to know who he's voting for.
But
And,
I think Fritz said he was going to vote for Trump.
yes, but I want to know what he thinks, if it's rigged, if all this is rigged, and if it's you know.
Exactly. That's what we've got to know. But I remember one time Fritz came on the show. He came in he was like 25 minutes late. So maybe that's just the things with it now, you know. So hopefully I'll be getting him on soon. But I'm sure it has to be rigged of some kind, the elections.
No, for sure, everything is done by design, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, okay. I got a message. I didn't get no time zones. Okay.
There you go, everybody. You know. So now we're gonna hear Fritz.
Well, hold on. He just asked me how much.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I mean, better late than
Waiting
never.
to be now, so we're just gonna be waiting to see. He says, "Uh-oh."
It's okay. We'll stay whenever he wants to stay. The floor is his.
Uh-oh. Calling in. Okay, let's get.
All right, everybody. All right, let's do this. Let's make it happen.
Hi, Fritz.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm doing fine.
It's been like a long time. We haven't spoken.
Yes, are we on air now?
Oh yeah, we're on the air right now, Fritz. Welcome to the MnRTV Live Show. I mean, we've been waiting impatiently for you here, and all our guests are waiting. So now they're all happy.
Oh, I just got home and I looked at my calendar where I write the times, and I'm sorry, I didn't write any time zone down, so the time I had was meaningless. So anyway, I'm on. So that's great.
That's great.
How have things been going? What have you been discussing?
Oh well, we've been discussing the big thing of all the media, Hillary versus Trump, the elections of what the heck is going on. I mean, it's got to be. It's. I've never seen an election like this in my life.
I haven't either.
And I'm Canadian. And that's how people talk about is the elections. In fact, our own elections, people are not as excited as when there's elections in the U.S. But this year it's got to be special. So we want to talk about, are the elections rigged? Is the Illuminati doing this on purpose? And go ahead, Fritz. The floor is yours.
Well, I was over in Germany. I spoke to the common people over there. They listen to mainstream media. Mainstream media totally lies about Donald Trump, and they've totally ruined his reputation. But then you come over here, and just like today, I was talking to a guy, and you could tell his elevator didn't go to the top, and he was kind of loud and obnoxious. But I decided just to talk with him. And at one point in our discussion, he just blurted out, "Well, I voted for Hillary." He was so proud of himself. And I always vote for taxes. Taxes are good. So I could see why he would vote for Hillary, because she wants to raise her taxes. But anyway, so you got that category of people that just, all he does is watch mainstream television. and those people, they've seen negative things about Trump, so you can understand why they would have a totally negative attitude. And then you've got another category of people that are just cynical. They don't believe that, you know, anything. And I've generally been this way. You know, in most elections, they give you a choice of the left or the right wing, which are just two wings of the same bird. You know, so you know, it's a choice between Tweedledee and Tweedledum.
Right.
And generally, I'm rather skeptical. You know, I don't want to get involved in things because I can see both candidates are corrupt. But this election, you know, you follow me on Facebook, so you know that what was it, 2 or 3 years ago, the Illuminati told me that they were going to run Hillary, and they were like really proud of her. They really think she's the cat's meow. They really think she's great. And she secretly went over to Bilderbergers and everything because they were going to run her as a presidential candidate. Well, I think from the best I can make out, you know, and I'm a researcher and I'm not infallible, but from what I can understand, you know, they knew that Donald Trump was going to run for president. He's been wanting to run. He's been talking about running for president, you know, 1988, 1992, 96, 2000. There's like 5 times he's bounced it off of people. Hey, should I run? And he was thinking of running as a third party candidate, but he backed off. Well, so from what I can tell, they expected that Donald Trump would run in this election. But I think what they did not expect was that there would be what I call, and other people are calling, the Second American Revolution. Donald Trump, when he started running, I think he was supposed to be like Bernie Sanders and just take his licks and quietly bow out. But the guy is not out there. He doesn't do things to lose. And he loves his country. I really sincerely, Robert, I've listened to the man. I've listened to, I don't know how many speeches, maybe a dozen of his speeches. And I've watched the debates. I really think the man is sincere in loving America. He's got grandkids. He wants this country. He realizes that if somebody doesn't turn it around, the United States is down the tubes. We're off the cliffs. That's it. Bye-bye. New World Order. Hello. And I really think that Trump is really sincere. You know, a lot of people are too cynical to believe that. But I really think he's sincere, that he wants to save America. And I think that the elite were not expecting to really be challenged by him. You know, they have all the machines rigged, and you probably, because you followed me for a long time, Robert, know that since about 1990, I've been talking about how the elections are all rigged.
Right.
They've been rigged for all my life. And there was a book by the Collier brothers. It's called Vote Scam, and they came out with it, I think, in 1990. I've really pushed the book a lot because they documented, they found out exactly in detail how the voting is being rigged, and they exposed it way back in 1990. I had a gentleman that was wanting to get out of the Illuminati, and he talked to me about, wasn't the 1992 election. He said, Fritz, I saw a map for insiders 6 months before the election that had the exact final figures for both the common count, the regular vote, as well as the electoral. In other words, they knew exactly how they were going to rig the machines 6 months ahead of time, or maybe a year ahead of time. They knew the exact ballot count. of the general vote as well as the electoral college vote, they had it down, and it was written there on maps, so the insiders knew exactly what was going to happen. This is what we were facing, and this is why I was skeptical that unless there was like a major I'm for lack of a better word, revolution, that and Americans standing up, that they were just going to rig the votes and Trump wasn't going to stand a chance. But the American people have been standing up. Hillary and Cain canceled all of his meetings. I think back on Sunday, he canceled it because he had a meeting and he had a hard time getting 20 people to come. Hillary has been having a hard time getting more than like about 30 people. Half of the people at her talks are paid to be there. And from what I heard, she also has canceled her speaking engagements. Meanwhile, Trump is speaking 3 times a day and filling stadiums with about 30,000 people each, and so this is what you're looking at. Hillary is not popular. There's more people that want her in prison. You're going to see more people with bumper stickers, Hillary for prison, than you are Hillary for president, But the mainstream media is still backing her. You go on and look at the establishment mainstream polls, and they still show her winning easily. And so I know people are cynical. Some people are cynical. Some of your listeners are going to be cynical. And definitely Trump has some rough edges to his personality. Yes. And definitely he's connected to the elite. But this is not a personality issue here. This is an issue of what's going to happen to the United States. Because Robert, what we're facing. And if Trump isn't sincere and if Trump doesn't get elected, you can write the United States off. Should I keep going, or do you want to jump in here?
I just want to ask, like, what, I might be putting you on the spot here, Fritz, but what are your thoughts on the way Donald Trump talks about women?
Yeah, there was this clip, and that was another person that I talked to that was down on Trump today, was talking to me about, the one video clip that mainstream media has of him saying that he likes to grope women or something. As far as I know, that's a legitimate clip of him. But Robert, and I really think when it comes to the future of this country, whether we're going to have a country or not, those are very minor issues, because, quite frankly, I hate to say this, but the truth is, I don't think this is any exaggeration. 90% of your average men out there refer to women as bitches and have no respect for women. And red-blooded Americans, if you're in the Army, what do you think guys in the Army or in the football locker room talk about? Women.
Right.
That's just a man thing to do, and maybe that doesn't get out there to the public. But I was just talking to a Christian brother this weekend, and he's in favor of Trump. We were having coffee and visiting, and he said, Fritz, I was a pervert before I gave my life to Christ. And, I did things way beyond what Trump did, and if somebody were taking pictures of me back then, I would be disqualified for anything. And the thing of it is I believe that we need to give Trump the benefit of the doubt, because according to James Dobson, and James Dobson is a very respectable Christian, and there's a number of other very respectable Christians that are saying the same thing. They're saying that Trump gave his life to Christ recently, and he's a new babe in Christ. And he definitely seems like he's made some changes, and even in the 2 years that he's been in the public eye, or the year he's been in the public eye, you can see that he's been making some adjustments and changes. So, that's my viewpoint, is to give him the benefit of the doubt. If you look at what Hillary's involved with, I mean, I have known since the early 90s that she was involved with the trauma-based mind control. And I had people talking to me about how she was a grand dame in the Illuminati. And then Kathy O'Brien came out and talked about how she had been a sexual slave for Hillary Clinton. Well, just recently, they have been they've been exposing the Lolita Express. Are you familiar with that, Robert?
Yes, I've heard about it. But before we get into that, I just have one final question about Trump. How about all these allegations that he groped women? It's all coming out. Is this true, or is this just prefabricated?
Pure fabricated. Those people are being paid by Hillary. And yeah, she, as disgusting as it sounds, look at it this way, Robert. Why did these women wait until now to come forward and say something? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
I mean, supposedly 20 years ago he did something to me. Yeah, and now you're just waiting to say something? Yeah, right. No, these people are being paid off by Hillary. WikiLeaks is documenting these kind of things, that she's paying agitators to go in and cause fights at Trump rallies and all the rest of this stuff. And so there's no moral compass to this woman. She is totally reprobate. She is as slimy as they come, and she's totally amoral. There's not a shred of morality. She's gotten rich, she and her husband, by selling American secrets and favors. She's been selling ambassadorships. If you want to be ambassador to a certain country, you donate so much to the Clinton Foundation. If she took Algeria off of the watch list as Secretary of State because they made a big donation to the Clinton Foundation, So, anyway, did that answer your question?
Yes, it did. What do you think of Hillary Clinton's handler, George Soros? He's an architect of the New World Order, Illuminati.
He's definitely a kingpin, and he's a nasty critter. And that guy should be locked away. He has caused more riots and people getting killed and on and on. Now his voting machines are rigged. And there was a lady that came on to Alex Jones's, and she's an expert. She's bipartisan. She's not a Republican or Democrat. She's a bipartisan researcher that she and this other man discovered the program that they loaded on in 2001 so that they can rig the elections on these voting machines. And she broke it down. Yeah, and that's where Soros is coming from. No respect for the common person. He's your typical 100% elite pedophile, nasty critter that's just wasting good air by being alive.
He's just as bad as Henry Kissinger.
Oh, Henry Kissinger is another bird of the same feather. Yeah, and Henry Kissinger is still involved in certain things, even at his ripe old age.
Exactly. But the thing is, with Donald Trump, is he gonna win? Is he able to win, or is this forget it now? I mean, I read who's in the polls. They say Trump's in the polls, that he's winning. Then some other people say that Hillary is winning.
Well, this is where we're having a second American Revolution. Yesterday, I posted something about a gentleman, and he's elite, but again, I want us to get away from black and white thinking, because there are people that are in the intelligence agencies, there are people that are FBI that still love America, you know, and they're not totally corrupt. And so Steve, and I'm not good with Polish names, but Peksinik, if I'm pronouncing his name right, Peksinik, Steve Peksinik, he's been involved with the intelligence agencies, and he's a psychiatrist. He's gotten himself off and on in the news since about 1965, but the people that work with him rate him as a genius. But anyway, he was the one that came on and did a video clip where he said that Hillary had tried to do a coup to just take over things here a couple days ago, and these loyal these 16 intelligence agencies that had loyal Americans as well as loyal FBI, they did a counter coup, and it made a lot of sense because the things that he said, you know, Assange, WikiLeaks,
Yes.
has been putting out tens of thousands of emails. Now, who's supplying them with those emails? Now, if you think like some people that I know, they're thinking, oh, well, there's just some disgruntled Democrat in Hillary's entourage that's sending this. No. This has got to be a massive operation. And the only thing that makes sense to me is exactly what Steve was saying. And that is that these loyal Americans that are in these intelligence agencies are doing a coup against her. They do not want her in, and they're even going to send Obama to prison. And they have told Obama that he is not going to pardon Hillary. And so this all makes sense in relationship to a lot of other things that are happening. Did you see that thing where Hillary got upset and started screaming backstage?
Yes.
Yeah. And she was saying, if you don't protect me, we're all going to hang. You know, she knows she's in danger of getting prosecuted. That's why she sent $1.8 billion to Qatar, and they've set up a mansion for her to flee. So, you know, instead of being prosecuted, she can flee there because they have no extradition treaty. There's a lot of other people. John Kerry, he sold his house, boat, stuff. It looks like he's getting ready to boogie on out of here. So, you know, a number of these people are showing distinct signs of getting ready to, like rats fleeing a ship. But you know, I think if Hillary was smart, she would leave sooner than later, because at a certain point, she may not get a chance to leave. They're gonna lock things down. And you know that Huma Abedin, who's her lesbian lover,
Yes.
from a Saudi Arabian princess, she's disappeared. Nobody knows where she's at. And the rumor is that she's flipped on Clinton, and they're going to give her immunity, and she's going to testify. I don't know if that rumor is true, but she's definitely disappeared, and that would be consistent with the police writing up on her and saying, you know, you could be in prison for life, or you can cooperate with us. And if she had gone along with that, then they're going to have to put her in hiding.
Ooh. Speaking of bloodlines, I have a question here. Is Donald or Hillary from the Cain bloodlines?
Well, Hillary, her middle name, Rodham, is where her main Illuminati blood comes through. And I don't know which of the 13 bloodlines she's a member of. I never found that out. The insiders told me that Clinton was both Rockefeller and Russell, but I was never told. I was told that Hillary was high rank, had a high rank, a grand dame in the Illuminati, and that was years ago. She may even be higher, but nobody ever told me what bloodline she was, and I haven't done
research.
She's one person I haven't done genealogy research on.
And what about Donald Trump? Was he a bloodline also?
Well, I'm really suspecting that, that's there's some clues that lead me to believe that, yes, but I can't say anything definitive. And you probably you got my large book on the trauma-based mind control, the first one?
No, I don't have it.
Oh, you didn't get that one? The Illuminati formula used to create an undetectable, total mind-controlled slave? Well,
no, the only one I have is the 13 Bloodlines. A wonderful book.
Okay. Yeah. So years ago, we're talking about in the early 90s, somebody that I was, because I worked with a lot of victims of the trauma-based mind control. Somebody had told me about Trump being involved with the trauma-based mind control. So, we're dealing with a billionaire. We're dealing with somebody who's rubbed shoulders. And he freely admits that. He says, I used to be on the other side. I've heard him say that repeatedly. I used to be on the other side. I know how corrupt it is because I used to be on the other side, So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. If he isn't sincere, well, then you might as well kiss America goodbye. But I think he is, and the kind of people that are for him are people that lead me to believe that he is sincere. And the elite, they're pooping in their pants. They're really upset about Trump. I haven't seen no indication that this is all staged, that they just want to use Hillary to get Trump in. No, they are still battling full blast to get Hillary in there as president. And like I was saying earlier, you've got some Americans, like in Texas, they started using the voting machines, and the voting machines were, if you voted Trump, they'd switch it and register Hillary instead. And so Texas shut down the voting machines, started using paper. And so people are watching. People are doing exit polls. People are watching. They're not going to get away with rigging this election like they did before. And there's such a landslide momentum in favor of Trump that if they come out with bogus election figures, people are just going to rebel. They're not going to believe it.
This is ridiculous. But what happened with Hillary a couple of months ago? Didn't she have some kind of seizure and she was shaking? I'm sure you've seen that video, right?
Right. WikiLeaks came out with her medical records that show that she has Parkinson's. So there were several doctors that back then, before WikiLeaks came out with her medical records, there were several doctors that were saying, hey, I know Parkinson's, and now she has got Parkinson's. You can see you can see the symptoms there. And I loved that whole episode. That was at 9/11. She was in New York for this 9/11 event, and then she had her Parkinson's seizure, and then they drug her and threw her into the car, and she dropped a shoe. It reminds me a little of Cinderella, except she's no Cinderella. Then not long after that, her double comes out, and if you looked at the picture of the woman that came out that pretended to be Hillary, her face doesn't look the same. She's much thinner. younger, and she comes out of where Hillary's where Hillary is there, supposedly at her daughter's, which was actually a medical facility set up, disguised and set up for her. But anyway, this double comes out and waves at the crowd like so that people will think that Hillary is okay. Well, what I loved about that is people could see through it all. They realized that this was a double. I've been saying for years that she had a double, and now people are seeing the kind of things that I said. You know, I was saying since the early 90s the elections are rigged. Now people are seeing for themselves. It's becoming mainstreamed. The white community knows these things. They know she's got a double, or several doubles actually. They know that, and there's some weird pictures of Hillary too. Have you seen those pictures where her eyes go weird?
Yes, I have. And the shaking also, she was interviewed, and her head bobbles like one of those dolls, you know?
Yeah. So, so that's even creepier.
I might think she might be some kind of alien shapeshifter, reptilian of some kind, if that's possible. As crazy as it sounds.
It might be. And honestly, and I don't want to get too far out there.
Right.
But Obama, sometimes when Obama's being filmed, I swear he does not look human. He looks like he's a reptilian. Sources, if you read secret military documents, they say that, I forget the exact number, but, around maybe 3,000 reptilians are here on Earth, according to secret military documents. Hey, that could be. Definitely, there's videos of people's eyes shape-shifting into reptilian eyes. And I used to, back in 1993, I wrote this book on the reptilians, and then I put it on the shelf because you can get contact lenses that make your eyes look reptilian. But there's no way to explain someone whose eyes look normal while they're being filmed, and then they flicker into being reptilian, and then they go back to being normal. Do you know any explanation for that?
No, I have no idea how that could be. There's nothing normal about it, and I think there's nothing normal about Hillary. And I'm sure you heard of this about Hillary, Fritz, but I'm going to say it anyways for our viewers and people that watch the recorded show. What do you think of the Hillary kill list?
Oh my goodness, the woman's a serial murderer.
Yes, for crying out loud, she is. Yeah. And go ahead.
There's several things about Hillary that if people thought it through, and I recently, maybe not all of your listeners read my Facebook articles, so I recently wrote an article about how Hillary, well, I really didn't talk much about Hillary. I was just talking about the Islamic infiltration of the United States. It also is happening in the United Kingdom. The same thing that I'm talking about here is going on in European countries. In fact, the German police just recently said they don't see how they can get a handle on the Islamic violence. But the Muslim Brotherhood, George Bush, Obama, they're all saying, Islam is a religion of peace. It's a religion of love. But if you really read the Quran says to fight for Allah and to kill anyone who's against them. So there's some verses in the Quran that say don't kill innocent people. But those of us that are opposed to Islam, they don't view as innocent, So they've got these little exceptions which make it right for them to do anything to us. And they were raiding a house in Northern Virginia. They came across a whole bunch of boxes and 80 hidden boxes that were down. It was a hidden basement below the regular basement. And in those boxes, they said what the Muslim Brotherhood's agenda was, their mission statement for America. And their mission statement for America is they're going to destroy Western civilization and replace the U.S. government with an Islamic government under Sharia law. That's what they want. So all these people that think that these Muslims don't have a dangerous agenda are off in la land. The thing of it is they also seized a list where the Muslim Brotherhood were listing the organizations that they had here in the United States. And it's essentially all the Muslim organizations in America, all the big ones, are underneath them. And 80% of those organizations are directly under the Saudis, who have they have a Wahhabi type, the Wahhabi branch of Islam. There's the Sunnis, the Shiites, and then there's the Wahhabis. There's a couple others. And the Wahhabis are pretty nasty batch. The Sunnis are a little bit milder, but if you follow the Quran, you're totally against everything the United States stands for: life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And so Hillary's sidekick, who she would, Huma Abedin, her lesbian lover, was going to be placed, in power when Hillary comes in. Hillary has been taking incredible sums of money from these Muslim nations because she's willing to sell us down the tubes. Why? Why would someone who's Illuminati be doing this? Because the Illuminati are going to use Islam to destroy Christian culture. That's what they're doing in Europe. That's what they had intended here. That's why we need Trump. We need to close our borders. All these people that are PC, oh yeah, you gotta tolerate people and be nice. You're phobic this, you're phobic that, Islamophobic, blah blah. So tell me, are you going to leave your house unlocked and whoever walks by on the street is welcome to come in and eat out of your refrigerator and sleep on your bed? That's what leaving the United States without unguarded borders is doing. A nation has to have borders, or it's not a nation. Of course, globalists like Hillary Clinton don't want us to have a nation. They're trying to take us into this new world order, as you know. I'm not telling you or a lot of your listeners anything new. Another thing that Hillary is very much in favor of, that again is a thinking person should be repulsed by it, and that is she was a member of the Communist Party. When she was in the governor's mansion there in Arkansas, she would wear a pin. I'm proud to be a member of the Communist Party. Obama was tutored by a KGB agent, mentored by a KGB agent. So these people and other people in the Obama administration too are rank and file communists. Well, Bernie Sanders was too, but he's not in the picture. But anyway, what is socialism? What is communism? Is that something good for America? Is it something good for Canada? You can look at the end of World War II. There were two nations, Germany and Korea, that were divided up. Same culture, same everything, same basically, split half and half. And you can see one half rebuilt under communism, the other rebuilt under capitalism, like what Trump is advocating. Well, South Korea is light years ahead of North Korea. In North Korea, they have starvation. South Korea is like one of the greatest economies. And then you had West Germany, which was based on capitalism, and East Germany on communism or socialism, the East Germans were poor. They, it cost to buy a television. It cost 6 times as much to buy a television in East Germany as in West Germany before the wall came down. In fact, I just had the privilege of going to Berlin, and I stayed in what used to be East Berlin. I got to see there's only 2% of the Berlin Wall left. They left that little 2% as a memorial. But I got to see Checkpoint Charlie. I got to see that little stretch of the wall that still remains as, the rest got torn down. And when you walked on the street, Germans telling me what it used to be like in East Berlin when the communists were there, it was a nightmare. It was spooky, like your worst nightmare to just walk the streets. And walking the streets now, you can see down in embedded in the concrete in metal. It's written in metal, embedded on the sidewalks, are communist slogans. Check that out, Robert. Even while you were walking,
Wow.
They had to be trying to brainwash you with propaganda.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane. I have another question here that says, what if Trump was put there by Hillary to make sure that Hillary would win? That he was just a sideshow for her to win, that he was paid for. Is this possible?
Well, I don't think he was paid anything. In fact, Trump didn't get any. Hillary has gotten, I don't know, maybe hundreds of millions of dollars to help her campaign out from Monsanto and all these Illuminati pharma companies. Trump hasn't gotten anything like that. Trump took $55 million of his own money and started his campaign that way. So I don't see any. If you look at the campaign's finances, I don't see the elite giving him anything, not diddly squat, except harassment and ruining his reputation. In fact, when he got started in the campaign against Hillary, she got people to boycott his businesses, and they actually succeeded a little bit. They were having golf tournaments at his places, and what's the initials for the professional? Excuse me, the Professional Golf Institute organization, PGA.
Yes.
That it?
Yeah.
Yeah. They because of the pressure from Hillary, they canceled all of their tournaments at places that were owned by Trump. So he's only gotten grief. I haven't seen anything that would indicate that theory. I've seen plenty to indicate that theory is not true.
Okay. Now, let's say Trump gets elected, he becomes the president of the United States, does not listen to the globalists. Could he go the way of JFK?
Yeah, exactly. And this is what's kind of scary, is because, it really, over a period of time, began to really irritate me. And let me explain what I'm talking about. The Illuminati told me that they were going to start killing bankers, and they described their assassination bureau. They weren't even afraid to tell me this stuff. It's just like, we're so powerful, we're going to pull this off, and nobody can stop us. Well, damned if they weren't. Man, they started killing off all of those bankers.
Yes, I remember.
And the police, every time, even though it was obvious it's not a suicide. I mean, somebody's going to take a nail gun and shoot himself 50 times or something. It's just ridiculous. People thrown out of buildings and all kinds of stuff, obviously murdered. And every time the police rule it a suicide, and the families feel intimidated and won't even talk. Man, the Illuminati, gets away with it. They did it just like they said they were going to. And then they started in on the alternative medical doctors, and now they've killed about 50 of those. Incredible. And again, those are obviously murders, and the police rule them as suicide every time. Amazing.
I know, it's unreal, and it's just they do what they want to do. What are your thoughts on Putin, Vladimir Putin of Russia? Is he fighting the NWO?
I'm kind of got mixed feelings about the guy. Okay, so I think that originally Putin may have been like Trump, that he was definitely supposed to be, okay, this is our controlled opposition. But I think from reading between the lines, it looks to me like Putin has decided to go beyond what his script was. And but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's going beyond the script and really pissing them off, or if that's part of the script. Putin, one of the things that Putin's done, Putin's a nationalist, but then so is Adolf Hitler. Putin's done something that's contributed to the problem that we have today, and that is a lot of people in Eastern Europe. You got your Baltic states, Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia. You got Poland. You've got Romania. These countries have centuries of abuse from Russia. Long before communism came in, the Russians were abusive to the Poles and these other people. So they have this long history, and they haven't forgotten that. So they're real sensitive about, they're real, sensitive is the word I want to use. They're real sensitive. So Putin's gone in, and he's just bullied them. And with his military, he's just aggravated them with doing things that, like he's going to attack them or something. He just, sending his jets up and trying to play chicken with airliners and on and on. So Putin has got these countries scared. So even if I was to say Putin's a nice guy, one thing that Putin's done is he's got these countries irritated, agitated, afraid. And then in response to that, NATO's come in, and they've surrounded Russia with all of these missiles that are obviously offensive missiles. So now Putin has a legitimate reason to say, well, the Americans are being aggressive. So this is almost like a script. You know what I'm saying, Robert?
Yes, I do.
It's like one side does this and the other side does that. So you get this stupid escalation. And these politicians during the 20th century, sending so many millions of young boys to death, telling them you're fighting for your country, when all they were doing was fighting for these politicians who created these stupid wars. And unfortunately, I see that happening again. And so if that's what Putin's doing, is helping them set up World War III, then, I don't like the guy. But if he's but so far he seems to be smart enough not to take the bait, because Obama keeps poking him in the eye, trying to get him to react, like in Syria. And Putin keeps dodging, Putin keeps saying, well, we're going to give you a 24-hour notice, or this is going to be World War II, World War III. He just keeps saying this stuff, but he doesn't take the bait and actually do it. So I got mixed feelings. I'm not sure where to place Putin, whether he's legitimately against the Illuminati as he says he is, or whether he's pretending to be that and working off of a script. I don't have all the answers here. I think maybe originally he was he was chosen by them to play the script. But people can do their own thing, you know.
That's right.
People get into power, do their own thing.
So who's the head honcho of the Illuminati? Who's calling all of this?
Well, when it was reorganized, William Van Dyne, and I put that out, and there's a lot of people that go, oh, well, that's not true. I think it is. I think it is because but that goes back to, that's a long story about all that I was seeing and learning about the Illuminati for years. I think it is legitimate. It's interesting because I had a lot of interaction with them, and I came to realize that he and his sidekicks, his right-hand men that interacted with me, they were trying to give me a really nice picture of him. But according to what I was being told, it was William Van Dyne that was where the death threats were when I went over to Europe in the first half of October. That's where the death threats on me were coming from. So anyway, he's not quite as nice a guy as they wanted me to believe. And I think he was thinking that, you know, he could externalize himself and people were going to love him and respect him. And it didn't happen that way. When he got externalized for a minute there, people just hated on him. And I can understand that. People are sick of these people. People are sick of the elite, you know. They're tired of them. You know, that they see all of the misery that they're causing this world, and the people that are awake just want to get rid of them.
So if Trump wins, that would actually mean he's going to take on the New World Order, while the New World Order wants to use the states, their military power, to turn them against them. So wouldn't it mean that right now the New World Order is running scared?
Yeah, they definitely are. They definitely are running scared. And that's why I think Trump's legit is they wouldn't be running scared like this if they... And Trump can't do this on his own. That's where the fellow that I was telling you about, Steve, with
yes,
the Polish name, where Trump's actually getting support from people in positions of power that realize this is it, Robert. This is it. This is our last election. And Trump's even said that. Trump said, if I don't get elected, this is the last election. He knows. And that's the situation. We're right there on the edge of the cliff. It's either Hillary or Trump. There's really no other viable option in this election. I know there's a couple third-party candidates, you know, the Libertarian Party, Jill Stein of Green Party, but third parties don't have a chance in terms of the Electoral College. So people that vote for them are, you know, maybe you're making a statement, but you're not influencing the outcome of the election.
So I heard something said along the lines that if Hillary wins, Putin says World War III is going to come. If Hillary wins, yeah. What are your thoughts on this? Is this a threat from him, or is this just an analysis that he's doing?
That's a good question. I think both. I think it's an analysis because he knows what Hillary's going to do. For one thing, Hillary wants to set up a no-fly zone in Syria, and the head of the Joint Chiefs of Staff has flat out said, if we create a no-fly zone in Syria, it means automatically, no questions asked, a war with Russia. And Hillary is dead set on creating a no-fly zone. So there's a whole bunch of things that Hillary wants to do. And remember, it's Obama that's put all this stuff into the Ukraine. Obama's been agitating Putin, and you know what Trump said? Trump said, "Hey, I don't care if Putin has I'm spacing off the Crimea." He said, "I don't care if Putin has the Crimea. It's traditionally been part of Russia, and he's got it now de facto. So just let him have it and make peace with the guy." You know, Trump has got the right attitude. It's like, let's not fight. You know, there's been enough wars. Plus, he wants. Okay, I'm looking at something on the screen that says the Kremlin's in turmoil after the Clinton Foundation CEO requested asylum by them. Yeah, so, you know, the Clinton Foundation CEO knows he's in he's in criminal hot water, that he might end up in prison, so he's tried to get asylum by the Russians. That's bizarre because the Russians are a little bit reluctant to help somebody nasty like that out. So I'm curious to see how that's going to play out. If Putin gives the CEO, the Clinton Foundation, asylum, then I think that kind of answers your question whether Putin's legitimately against the New World Order or not.
Hillary, do you think she could be indicted, but by these emails just before the elections next week, which does not give much of a time frame?
No, they won't indict her, but they do plan in the long run to indict her. And yeah, so no, it's not going to happen that quickly. And we've got a real battle going on here in the United States between those who want to send her to prison for life. And did you see the statement by the former assistant director of the FBI? He's retired now, so he can speak his mind. He's just publicly saying that the Clintons are a crime family. He calls them the Clinton crime family.
Crime family or crime syndicate, something like that.
Yeah, he said crime family.
Yeah, so that's amazing. I mean, for him to say that, that's like mind-blowing.
Yeah, the tides turn. The tides turned against them. And the Illuminati still hanging on to her as a candidate. Soros still wants her. They're prideful. They're stupid. You know, they should cut their losses, but they're not. They're hanging in there, still trying to get her in. So we'll see what happens. We got one more week.
What are you thinking about Obama becoming a third-term president by doing a false blue beam alien fake invasion? Have you heard anything about this, Fritz?
Well, I wrote a couple articles on it.
Okay.
And you know, before before I realized all of these intelligence agencies and this loyal faction in the FBI are trying to help us out, before I realized that, I really thought that this Project Firesign, which is just, it used to be called Project Bluebeam. You know, Serge Monast in 1994 exposed Project Bluebeam. But before he exposed it, people in the Illuminati had told me the same kind of thing, just not quite exactly the same as what he described. But they said that one of the cards that the Illuminati had talked about in their meetings that they could play was a mock alien invasion. And so the Clintons had this research organization that researched what's happening, and the conclusion is that she's going to lose in the election. And so the next question is how can we get Trump voters to stop? And so this thing that came out that was leaked by WikiLeaks, it was a document from this organization that was doing the research that said that the only thing that they discovered in interviewing hardcore Trump supporters, the only thing that would work was this mock alien invasion fire sign, which has two sides to it. One is that you create holographic images. So you could create holographic images, let's say, of UFOs in Washington, D.C. and Moscow and maybe one other place. And then American jets could go and shoot at them. They're holographs, so it's not going to take them down. And then you can have people programmed to who knows what, do who knows what. And then the other aspect of it is that they're going to beam some simple thoughts into people's minds. We're aliens and surrender to us or something like this. So this is what was being proposed that the Hillary campaign do to stop the Trump voters from voting on November 8th. Well, interestingly, was it Saturday? I think it was Saturday that I was visiting with someone, and I said that I would keep this person's identity secret. But anyway, this person had definitely had a test of blue beam done to them, where they had a thought, lay still, this is a test, and these thoughts were beamed into them. And then one of my readers who has a adopted daughter who's a program multiple and who's part of a coven said that their coven was talking about there was going to be a mock alien invasion. So there's some clues out there that they were thinking of doing this, but now that there's been this coup against them with all of these intelligence agencies, I don't think they're going to pull that off. I don't think they're going to even dare. So I think that got stopped.
So at least we're safe from a fake alien invasion. But what about a real one? Is that in the works?
Well, they've been here for a while, so that we're a little late on stopping that. It depends on how you want to label these, I mean, I don't care what you want to label them. Archons, fallen angels,
demons,
aliens, but our government made a treaty with them, allowing them to do certain things. So they're here amongst us.
And I believe it too, because I've had previous guests come on my show, and they claim that they are alien hybrids.
Oh my!
Yeah, that's what I've been dealing with in the past couple of months. Not dealing with, but having guests on, and they're saying they're alien hybrids and that their parents are reptilians and stuff like that. So it's very interesting,
Wow. Yeah, well, there have been some of those.
What are your thoughts on David Icke's work?
Overall, he does an excellent job, except when I was over there in Prague, by the way, he gave a day-long talk on Saturday, and I gave a day-long talk in the same big opera house that seats about 1,500 people. I gave a talk the next day on Sunday. And I said right at the beginning that the difference between David Icke and me was in 10 hours of talking, David Icke never mentioned God. And his solution was that you should, basically it was a Gnostic answer that you need to become enlightened about what's going on. And in so doing, that's going to stop what's going on. And my approach is from a Christian vantage point.
Yes.
And that is, it says faith overcomes the world. And then, of course, you've heard me say, by extension, faith overcomes the world order. Faith overcomes the new world order. It's faith in God that's going to overcome. That's how we become overcomers. So for me, the key is a spiritual growth where you're in touch with Christ. You know how to share the love of God with people, where you can take the spiritual high ground and where you have God on your side. And with that faith, it's that faith that's going to allow us to overcome it. Because the enemy has so many weapons that if you don't have faith in God, if you don't believe in a power that's more powerful than the Illuminati, you're never going to fight them.
So you've actually met David Icke?
Oh, I met him back in like 1996 in Seattle, Washington, and I went to a conference he gave, and I ate supper or lunch with him.
Wow!
And I shared the gospel of Christ to him. He was very polite and listened as we shared Christ with him, but of course he didn't accept Christ into his heart. But I at least got to give him credit that he was polite and listening. When I met him on Friday, I think that was Friday, October 6th, if I remember the date correctly. No, let's see, Friday would have been the 7th.
Yes.
Okay, on the 7th of October, he and I met in my hotel, and we hugged each other, and, we're good friends, but, he's a New Ager, I'm a Christian.
So that's what drops the line, because I've read one of his recent books I've read, Perception of Deception, and it's just mind-blowing, and I'm saying to myself, how does this guy get all this information? Where did he get it from, And it's like, it seems like he got it from a higher power of some kind.
Huh.
Like all this information, if you know his background, it's like, wow, it's a 900-page book, and it took me like over a month to read it. A month and a half, so I guess he's got his ways of doing things, but most of his information is spot on, just the things about Jesus, which I don't agree with, but what can I do?
Right.
So, yeah, exactly. So Fritz, in closing, is there anything you would like to say to our viewers about the elections, your website, any books that you're doing, any future products or projects that you're doing?
Well, yeah, I want to emphasize where people can get my material. They can buy my material at pentracks.com. But if your listeners are Canadian,
yes,
notice that it says there on my website, pentracks.com, and Pentracks is spelled PENTRACKS.com. You'll notice there that you're going to have to donate more money because it costs more. The postage that rates that are given there are for United States. So email me, my email address should be there.
Yes.
I'll tell you how much extra postage to donate. But I would strongly encourage people to get my books, like you have, Bloodlines of the Illuminati. It's a good book, isn't it, Robert?
Oh, it's one of the most amazing books that I've ever read, I mean, I love the book, and I look at it quite frequently, and it's just mind-blowing. It's like a Bible of Illuminati. It's the Bible of the Bible of the Illuminati.
Yeah, it's a reference book. And unfortunately, it's not being stocked in the libraries. They're buying Fluffy the Vampire and all kinds of crap like that for the libraries instead of buying something like my book. So yeah, if people want it as a reference, they need to buy it, because you're not going to go down to the library and get it. I encourage people to help me out that way, because I'm quite frankly live as poor as a church mouse. Some people think that if you're an author, that you're fabulously wealthy, but it doesn't work that way. So they can support me that way. They can also go on Facebook, and Facebook insisted that I put my middle name in. So you'll see under Fritz Art Springmeier,
yes,
you'll see my Facebook page. And I post articles up there almost every day, don't I?
Yes, you do, and I read each and every one of them. And we're just on your website now, and I just want to ask you one quick question. What is it? What are your thoughts? I've done a show on this. I've had scientists on the show. What's your thoughts on the Mandela effect?
That is creepy, Robert. And how much time do I have?
Well, we have, as long as you can talk, a couple of minutes, I guess we can go into overdrive. Sure,
Well,
why not?
You know, when I first heard about it, I thought, you know, this is really Looney Tunes. You know, somebody's getting way out there. I even entertained the idea that maybe it was a psyop to make the awake community look Looney Tunes. But then when I started seeing all of the things people were saying are different, I was like, oh my goodness. Robert, I gave my life to Christ back in 1969. I joined a independent conservative Baptist church. I remember the sermons back then, and they used to talk about you don't put new wine into old wineskins.
Yes, yes.
I have heard that in sermons, and we use the King James Bible in that church. You know, and I heard that. I never heard bottles. It was always wineskins. And I have one King James Bible that actually says wineskins. But all the rest, when I checked them, they say bottles. And I'm like, bottles? I never heard bottles before.
No, there were no bottles back then, yes.
So it's just things like that it's like, whoa, this is really spooky. I think that maybe there is an alternate timeline dimension that's merging with ours to some degree. And this is one of the tactics of the enemy. You know, they're trying to mess with us. And I don't know. There's something there. When I look at the things that people point out, well, this has changed, some of them are actually legitimate. Like the wineskin thing is now the Bible says bottles. That doesn't even make sense.
Or like the Star Wars one.
Tell me that one.
The one that says, Luke, I am your father. And instead he says, no, I am your father. I mean, it seems to have changed. I'm not a Star Wars expert. I didn't really verify, but that's what people are telling me. Movies and movies like the Flintstones, the Flintstones, stuff like that. The Bernstein. Yeah.
Bernstein Bears.
Yeah.
Yeah, all that. That's like, what? Because I remember what it used to be, and now the past has changed, and it's like, say what? Yeah.
So, I mean, if there's alternate realities, would that mean there's alternate universes, alternate Earths? So there might be another Fritz Springmeier somewhere else, another Robert somewhere else. Is that what this what this is leading to? But the thing is, this is not even biblical. I don't know. Like, it's not in the Bible, is it?
Well, we knew that there were going to be mass deceptions in the end time. And what a better way to make us doubt anything than to have something like this occur.
Because I always thought that. Go ahead.
Well, as the scripture says, if Christ didn't return, even the elect would be deceived, you know.
I thought that would be the alien invasion, the demons or fallen angels coming down saying that they're gods. I thought that would be the big delusion.
Yeah. Well, it may be several. You know how these people are. They like overkill. Exactly.
But the Mandela effect, that's really creepy. That's something else, you know. That's way out there.
It is. And then when you start wrapping your mind around it, your mind just kind of explodes.
Exactly. So that's for, I guess, another time. I'm glad we're able to cover it a little bit, you know. So is there anything else you want to say about this before we end the show?
Well, I really appreciate you allowing me to speak my mind, and you know, some of my opinions are based upon, you know, my years of dealing with the Illuminati, and so they're informed opinions. But of course, on the other hand, I could be wrong on some things.
Right.
And further along, we'll know more about it, definitely. But I'm still in favor of Trump in spite of everything.
Oh, well, we're going to see next week. I mean, I can't vote. I'm not even in America, but we'll see next week. Next Tuesday, I believe, the 9th or the 8th, it's going to be the elections, and it's going to be something to watch for. I'll be watching it, the 8th, actually. I'm going to be watching it attentively, like everybody else is in Canada also, because it also affects Canada, and it affects the world, who's going to be the next president of the United States.
It's more important to Canada than your own election.
It is. It's unreal. It is. I mean, we have our elections, okay, we win, we lose, whatever. The next day we talk about, and that's it. But it's been going on since last year, you know, like talking about the U.S. elections.
Yeah, and so much has come out that's exposed the elite. I've never seen so much about the elite exposed as Trump's campaign has done. It's great. Well, Robert, thank you so much. I really enjoyed being on your show. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yeah, we will.
Thanks for inviting me.
No problem. So have a good night, Fritz, and God bless you, and thank you for coming on the MnRTV show.
Hey, good night.
Good night. What an amazing show we had tonight, Mario. I mean, it was mind-blowing. I mean, I'm just glad we were able to do the show, and he came on, and we're gonna have to make sure that this show is shared.
Let's just hope one thing there, Robert. Let's just hope that it gets even recorded to where we like it to be recorded. That's important. That's what we want to do.
Exactly. But that's it for this week. Hopefully the show is going to get recorded as we want it to. And we'll be back next week, God willingly, and everything is perfect. All right. So thank you very much. God bless y'all, and thank you for watching the show and watching Mario and us talk with Fritz Springmeier about the U.S. elections, Trump and Clinton, Illuminati Election 2016. Thank you.
All right. Thank you for watching. You people are the greatest out there, and we'll be back. We'll try to be back if nothing happens. Have a good night. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good one. Bye.